Everybody. I'm here to show you a new technique that I have for cleaning up your stereo EchoVox recordings. Now, stereo meaning not the EchoVox recording from the app itself. It would be, in my case, it's from my Tascam handheld recorder. It has two XY or AB mics and records stereo tracks, 24-bit. You can see down here in the corner, I'm 48,000 hertz, 24-bit stereo. So basically what's going on here is you have two recordings. You have a left channel and a right channel recording from two different microphones. I learned a long time ago that you could have 10 microphones in a room all go into the same recorder, and they all go to different tracks. You can actually get an EVP on one microphone, even if their microphones are right next to each other. The voice only will come through on one. So this is specifically about, you could do this with EVP recordings, any stereo recording. You can also use other software. I'm using SoundForge, but you could do this in any other audio editor. They're pretty simple commands and they're common. So what we're looking at here is Tascam 0027.wave, and it is a pretty long file. It's about 17 minutes, 20 minutes actually, and it contains an EVP session and some other stuff. It's from Ventfort Hall about a week ago with my friend Mark from Mass Ghost Hunters. And there's Brian Cano was there. It was a great event, and we got a lot of activity, and I'm still going over evidence. And the way I stumbled upon this technique was that I was working on this evidence, and I was trying to just bring some stuff in the background to the foreground, and it works. So the first thing you need is preferably a high quality digital stereo recording of your session. So I have a marker right here. It's about where the session starts, and you can hear at the beginning of the file we're in a basement and the heater kicks on. So you'll hear that, and then you'll notice after we do some stuff how much less interference you get from that noise. So here's what it sounds like. This is untreated.
So out of that session, sounds like really the only thing that.
So you can hear the heater kick on, and it runs through most of the session in the background. And here's what the session sounds like. It's a little muddy. So as you can see, it's a little bit muddy sounding. So this technique that we're going to do is going to really clean this up. So I'm going to bypass my usual steps, which would be to normalize things. So I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to go into process, and we're going to convert the stereo channel, stereo to stereo, and this would be called a vocal cut. Now it says remove center material output, and it says what it's taking from. So basically what this is basically removing material that's panned center between the two and only leaving the separate signals here. It's a little funky to think about, but it does. You'll see in a second. It's going to clear this up alone. Just if this was the only thing that you did, it will really enhance. And it's not just to remove noise in the background either, it's to really enhance the voices that are coming through. So here's the EchoVox session now with the center material removed.
What's the name of the man that died in this house?
Did you just say George? Say George, right?
So you can see it's a lot cleaner. So I apologize for that buzzing noise. This screen recorder does that for some reason. But alright, so now we have it center cut. Okay, the material is gone. That is center cut. center mixed. So, and it's much clearer. You can already hear a lot going on. So the next thing to do would be normalize it. I prefer -6 dB, and that's going to bump our file up. And this ought to give us a nice clear EchoVox session.
Recording basement in the kitchen.
Hello?
Alright, so obviously the noise in the background is there, but the voices and the sounds are much clearer on top of it than where we were before. And we could take it one step further. Okay, I'm not working with the whole file here. I don't plan on saving this for now. But we did our normalize. Now we're going to do some EQ, graphic. Here I have a strange EQ that I built for another purpose. We can try it here and see if it works.
It's interesting. Okay. So, for those who haven't investigated before, this is a lot of what we do. A lot of standing around, a lot of talking to nothing. You know, once in a while you hear something, you go, what was that? Imagine doing that, listening to 8 or 9 hours of audio and listening for that one little breath.
So that would work. Something like that might work, just to cut out some of that noise, or possibly to do some noise reduction. That's actually going to stop from the beginning of the file, but let's see how it works out for you. It might be a bit slow for the sake of this video, but you could try noise reduction. The only thing is that you lose a lot of the whispering and the nuances behind it. Let's see how this sounds. Alright, as you can see, it looks cleaner. We can get right into that session here.
What's the name of the man that died in this house?
Did you just say George? Say George, right?
Okay, but in our case, that's not going to work. So I'm going to back out of this. Okay, I've gone back to the beginning. Just to reiterate, here's untreated file.
Hello?
Okay, now there is one more thing that we can do, which would be to select the bottom channel, go to Process, go to Invert, Flip. We're going to flip this channel, not reverse it, but we're going to flip it. Down is up is down. Okay, and that gives us a different sound and pans things. And then go back to our first step that we did, which is a channel conversion. Stereo to stereo, remove center material. Okay, boom. Just takes a second. Now with this particular file, I don't think I would do a normalization on it, just because it's pretty clear already and that background noise is pretty hard to get rid of, so without losing anything important. Now you notice here that the noise in the background, the heater, is suppressed, and the vocals, the sounds coming out of EchoVox and in the room are clear.
How did he die? How did George die? Bit?
Alright, so there you have it. That's a way to clean up your sessions, stereo to stereo conversion, and inverting. So let's see if I can get this thing to stop, and thanks for watching. I hope it helps.